So before we get into today's video, we'd just like to tell you about our new sponsorship with Wild Boar Supplements. They have the largest and greatest range in sports supplements and have the range of products from essential pre-workout to recovery. If you use the discount code on screen at the moment, which is TBOFPOD10, then you can get 10% off all orders. The link in the description as well, and also the code. So check that out and make sure to check out their website.
Hello and welcome back to the Two Banks 4 podcast. On this episode today, it's a shorter episode. It's a bit of a special on the coronavirus and how it's affected football over the last couple of months and especially a couple of weeks. We've seen the Euro 2020 get postponed till next year. We've seen the Premier League, many other sporting organisations around the world, like the NBA, EFL, Liga 1, Liga Santander, the Serie A, they're all closing and suspending until April 3rd, April 4th time at the moment, but it doesn't take a genius to think that they're going to be on further than that. So I thought I'd ask you, Tom, first of all, Premier League, what's your opinions on the fact that it's been suspended? What happens next?
Well, as a Liverpool fan, obviously it's very frustrating in current circumstances, but to me, you can't call the season off now. You can't give it to Liverpool, although that hurts me to say it, because there's so many other things, any factors in the Premier League. You know, Villa in the relegation zone, you've got a game in hand. You win that, you're out the relegation zone.
Yep, exactly.
You look at United, they could argue they should be top four, but then you've got Sheffield United with a game in hand against United. They win, they go above them. You've got City with the Champions League ban for the next 2 years. You know, there's so many factors. Personally, I think with the Euros now postponed till next year, I think you play it in the summer. I think you have to, really. But again, you don't know when this is going to stop at the end of the day.
What happens if we get to the summer and we're still in that peak that the government keep talking about and it hasn't started declining as such yet, and it's looking like football's going to be extended till at least September?
I don't know. I guess that's the issue, really, isn't it? Because we don't know how long it's going to last for. The uncertainty, that's the problem. I mean, if it does get to the summer and it's still going on, then obviously it'll just keep getting postponed. And if that's the case, would I be surprised if it's still quite bad during September? Would they not have a season at all for next year and then start again the year after?
Possibly. Then you've got to think of the downward spiral effect that is going to have on so many clubs and players. A lot of people suggesting that you play it in the summer. What about contracts? What about the contracts that run out in the summer? What about the transfer window that's meant to be in the summer? What about the players' fitness? If next season's still to go ahead, summer, you train in the summer because you're not meant to be playing football in such heated conditions. You're meant to be doing warm weather training, building up your fitness for next year. Football's essentially a winter sport. Let's get that correct here. It's a winter sport. So it will cause a lot of issues. I mean, we see talk about the Premier League being voided. Obviously, that would be catastrophic, I think, especially for the League 1, League 2 and Championship clubs.
That's the problem.
They've already said,
down.
Yeah, they've already said that it would have an absolutely terrible financial impact on them. So nobody wants that. Let's just clarify that. No one wants to void the season. What people are saying, though, is if they were to void the season, and as a Villa fan, I'd take this happily, but as a Liverpool fan, you'd probably take it as well, but there'd be so many issues. The thing is, with every single potential outcome, there's always going to be the people who aren't happy.
Mm-hmm.
So if people are saying void the season now, don't relegate anyone because of the financial implications it's going to have. Because if you go down to the Championship, the financial might from being in the Premier League is unreal. So people are saying, don't relegate anyone, give Liverpool the title, everybody finishes where they are now, then you bring up West Brom and Leeds because they're in the automatic spots by quite a comfortable margin. But then you're going to have the Sheffield Uniteds, the Wolves, the Evertons possibly, the Leicester. Oh no, the Leicesters will be happy. But you can't do it because those teams go in for a position in the Champions League, Europa League, relegation, aren't going to be happy. They're going to want to play their games out. For example, Villa, as you say, we've got a game in hand, 2 points away from Watford. We win that game in hand, we go out the relegation zone. Imagine they were to relegate Villa now.
It would be unfair. At the end of the day, there's all these games left the rest of the season still. And it doesn't matter how many points someone's down or how many points Liverpool are at the top of the league. If they haven't won it yet, you can't... I'm a Liverpool fan again. I want Liverpool to win the league.
Let's not get twisted. They should not void the season in any light. It should be the last option to void the season. 100% should be the last option. But then you never know. You never know what can happen.
Again, as you said, you void the season. There's so many things. It's not just the Premier League which affects, as you said. It just keeps going down, like in all leagues across Europe. And it affects promotion, relegation, winnings. Again, all the money as well, as you said, financially. There's so many aspects. I think that's probably why a decision hasn't been made as of yet, because they're probably talking about it now. But there's so much factors they have to take into account. It's a very big decision, a big task to go ahead.
And then we talk about that last solution. What about the clubs in the playoff positions? Your Preston, your Nottingham Forest. They're not going to be happy if you say, oh yeah, all that was for nothing because you're not in the top two. What about Fulham? Fulham are biting at the heels of West Brom now. What's that going to say about them? I think if you were to avoid this season now, it loses a lot of its integrity. And nobody wants that. It's the best league in the world. England has the best level of football. Most championship teams would probably give most Serie A teams a decent game of football.
Mm-hmm.
It's the levels are just up there. Do you lose your season integrity by cancelling it off? A lot of it's going to depend on the health of the country and the health of the levels of this coronavirus come June, July, I think. And if it is still as bad as it's getting now, in the latter end of the summer, then probably going to have to say it's looking like it ain't going to finish. And whether you give Liverpool the title on probability, it would be absolutely criminal to not give Liverpool the title with how far ahead they are. But if you give Liverpool the title, then your credibility, does it go down the drain?
In a way, I wouldn't want that to happen because as a Liverpool fan, obviously we've been ridiculed for the last 30 years of not winning the Premier League. The one time we've dominated the league, breaking all the records, we won't be known as the team that, has finally done it after all these years. It'll be known as the team that was gifted the league because of the virus. Everyone will say, you never actually won the league. It hurts, but they can't do it, and...
Nobody wants that.
And the other thing I was thinking as well, you have to think of the fact that even if they did kind of just void the season, or whatever decision they come to, they can't just then say, okay, well, we'll go straight back into it, because you have to think the fitness levels really of the players. I know they probably will be keeping fit at their own houses. It's not like they're actually going out and playing football.
Like Mason Mount the other day got penalised by Chelsea because he went to the park with Declan Rice to play football. If that doesn't say the levels that they're taking this, the clubs now. I think we all remember last week when Arteta got diagnosed. It was kind of a shock to the system, I thought. It all seems like this virus is a bit far away, and suddenly with the school closures today and last week with Callum Hudson-Odoi, Mikel Arteta, Dybala, Matuidi, sitting home a little bit more. It's getting a little bit more real. So it makes you consider, is it safe for 11 blokes to be round tussling at each other on a football pitch? Probably not.
Well,
probably not.
I know it's hard, again, for them to introduce these kind of rules, but I did find it stupid just a few weeks ago when the league was still on and the FA, or whether it was introduced, you weren't allowed to shake hands at the start of the game.
But then at the end of the game, we see Diego Simeone going up to his players.
Exactly.
And high-fiving them, shaking their hands.
It's not logical. Yeah, okay, do that at the start of the game. They shake hands at the end. On the pitch, they're in body contact. It's a contact sport. I don't understand really what impact that made.
I didn't think there was any logic in that.
To me, all that was a rule introduced to act like they were doing something because they had no clue what to do. You saw all the other leagues were getting postponed or suspended. If you're being quite honest, should the Premier League have been suspended earlier? Probably. But I think that rule was a bit of a summit or nothing kind of thing just in place to act like, to be seen that they're doing something when in actual fact they weren't.
I completely agree. Euros 2020 had to happen.
Yeah, it was inevitable really again, wasn't it? It had to get postponed. It's a shame. Again, a lot of the hype towards this year, especially after England's last run in the World Cup. But again, it's for the best. It was always going to happen, and hopefully by the time obviously it comes around next year, it will be a lot better. Obviously by that point, hopefully people will be a lot fitter, I guess. But on the other hand, I also think it's quite not unfair because you can't help these situations. Very unlucky for a lot of players who in the Premier League this season have really performed. So Dean Henderson in goal.
Jack Grealish.
Jack Grealish. A lot of these players probably would have got called up this year, and now again it's been delayed till next year. You know, I think it's very unlucky on those players who've really played well and probably better than the current England team that we have at the moment. So on to something a bit different. You might have seen recently on a lot of our social media platforms and sites, we're running a FIFA 20 tournament on Xbox. So we're planning to do this on Sunday at 6 p.m. and it was £3 per entry, and then half the proceeds went to the winner and half the proceeds went to the food bank. Now, the reason we thought about doing this is obviously just current situations at the moment with the virus going on, a lot of people maybe being in quarantine. You know, we just wanted to do something which was a bit fun. And a lot of people our age, you know, that's kind of a lot of things we do, really, isn't it, on the Xbox? And it's combining a lot of basically things that we like. So to lead on from that, Harry's just going to tell you a bit about the rules and how the whole tournament is going to work. So if you want to take it away.
So basically, what we asked for is £3 entry fee. We're looking for about 32 players overall, and then half the proceeds are going to go to the food bank. Half the proceeds are going to be going to the winner. If we get 32 players, that means we can start in a round of 16 format, which is what we're looking to do. So far, we've got about 25, so that means 7 places left. But if there is a higher number of people wanting to play, then of course we can adjust it slightly and try and get more teams in. The way it's going to work is that the draw will be recorded on Friday or Saturday night, depending on what's going on due to this coronavirus. Nobody really knows where we stand with going out and stuff. So if our plans get changed, then so be it. But it will be either Friday or Saturday night for certain. Once it's recorded and edited properly, we'll upload it to YouTube whilst tweeting out the fixtures and putting the fixtures on Snapchat as well. So how's this going to work overall? You get pulled out the hat, your name's read out. Then next, I will have a hat full of every single 5-star team on FIFA online friendlies. I'm going to pull out the team after I've called your name, and that is the team you're going to be assigned to for the remainder of the tournament. Then I will draw out another person's name. That's going to be your opponent who you're playing. Then I'll draw their team out. Sorted. I'm going to do this 16 games, so obviously 2 people per fixture. Put into a bracket, round of 16, and then we're going to go into round of 16, quarterfinal, semi-finals, final. As you can imagine. Next, I'm going to be making sure that everybody's in a group chat on Snapchat together, so everybody knows the rules, regulations. We're going to be going for default squad, so no form. I know some of you could think, oh, if I choose Villa, I'm going to be in shoddy form compared to if I choose Liverpool or City. Well, we're going to be default squads. I don't know what's a Villa because they're not a 5-star team anyway. But regardless, that's how we're going to format it. Default squads. But I'm going to put everyone in a Snapchat group chat, as well as putting you and myself in a mini group chat with you, your opponent, and myself, as I previously stated. That's where you can feedback the result to me straight away. Say for your fair plays to each other, whatnot, whatever it may be. But let's not forget as well, if you do draw the game after 90 minutes, we're going to go into a golden goal. And we're going to play 6 minutes each way, so not too short, not too long. I think that's perfect timing, really. As I say, 6 o'clock start on Sunday. It's Mother's Day, I'm aware, but due to Corona going around, I doubt many places are going to be open. So if you're looking for something to do, this is a perfect opportunity, really. As we've said, make sure you share it with your friends. It's going to be a good event, a good evening.
Want to get as many
raise
people
a bit
as
of
we can.
money for charity, whilst also getting a bit of a competitive edge because you've got something to play for. So, thank you very much for listening tonight. We hope that you will get involved. Yeah. Share this video, share the poster. I'm going to put the poster on screen now. The one you can currently see. We're going to be... our socials are at the bottom. So if you want to join the tournament, get in contact with our Snapchat, our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever. It's not hard to find. It's Harry Moore, Tom Atkinson. Or just look up the official 2 Banks of 4 media pages and get in contact with any of them. And
once again, I'd like to say thank you for everyone who's already got involved and shared all our posters regarding this tournament and everything else. You know, it's much appreciated and it's helping us out and we're just enjoying doing all this at the moment. So thank you for that as well.
Thank you very much. So for myself and Tom, good evening. We'll see you on Friday or Saturday for the drill. Thank you very much. Cheers.